back to my channel. I missed you guys last week. I know I didn't upload a video last week. You know, I had a crazy week. My room was, I guess you could say, under construction because it was a complete mess. There was no way, no room for me to film. I had old furniture going out, new furniture coming in, and I, you know, redid my closet a little bit, got rid of some, you know, just a little spring cleaning, I guess you can say, and I didn't get to film. So I'm back, and like I said, I want to try to upload a video for you guys at least once a week. If I can get more in a week, then that's great, but I want to try to do at least once a week. And the fact that this is the last week of school, that means I'm gonna have my daughter around with me in the summertime, so I really want to, you know, get it together and come up with a schedule and stick to a routine where I can definitely film. But yeah, let's talk about today's video. In today's look, I did this makeup look. Now this makeup look was a makeup look that I did with the Urban Decay palette. It's a palette that was collaborated with a famous artist called Jean-Michel Basquiat. I think I'm pronouncing his name correctly. I had to look up his name to see how it's pronounced. And I think it's Jean-Michel. He is of Haitian and Puerto Rican descent. He was a black man that was a artist back in the 80s, a very well-known, well, I don't want to say well-known, back in his days, he was an up-and-coming artist that just was blowing up at his time in that era. And unfortunately, he died at the very young age of 27 to a heroin overdose. And you know, he was such an amazing artistic artist, and you know, his story really fascinated me and inspired me in so many ways. He had this artistic style that was, you know, very childlike but yet edgy at the same time. This is actually, you know, one of his designs. I ended up going into Google looking up a lot of his artwork, and I was reading about him, and you know, I learned that he actually dated Madonna back in the 80s. She was an aspiring singer. No one knew much about her, but he was actually dating her. And I also learned that he had a very troubled childhood, you know, lived on the streets a lot, and you know, for that reason he got into drugs. But he ended up doing really well with his artwork and became really good friends with like Andy Warhol. But unfortunately, Andy Warhol died the year before him, and I think it just, you know, besides the fact that, you know, he was an artist and doing drugs, unfortunately, you know, he overdosed. But you know, it's a sad story when I hear about his story. One thing that popped up a lot was I kept reading Samo, that he was being called Samo, and I didn't know what the Samo meant until I actually found this kind of like a documentary about him on YouTube, and I started watching it, and I'm gonna finish it tonight. It's a little over an hour long, and I ended up finding out something so just mesmerizing. I was so, you know, moved by his story when I found out why he was called Samo. And I just get chills when I hear about it. And you know, I'm not gonna tell you the story completely, but it's basically he ended up writing in his journal about a man who went basically shopping for a religion, and for a religion for him and his family. And it's just unreal, his story. He wasn't much of a writer, he was more of a artist. And just that one story touched me, and I couldn't believe how fascinating it was. Like, just now to hear that story today is probably more fascinating to hear than back when he wrote it. And I think that's what struck a chord, was that story and what it means today. I'm not going to tell you guys more about him. I'm going to link that documentary down below so you guys can see it. I'm telling you, it's definitely something you want to watch maybe right before you go to bed on your iPad, like I do. I watch YouTube videos, so I'm gonna link that story down below so you guys can watch his story. It's so fascinating. But anyways, I decided to do this makeup look with the palette that was collaborated with him and Urban Decay. And these are what the colors look like. They're so beautiful, these really pretty bronzy tones right here that I always, you know, gravitate to and love. This really pretty gray, navy blue, and gold color. I tried to use as many colors as I could, but I wanted to make this blue liner the main focus of the look. And this is the liner also as part of the collaboration. It's this really beautiful blue liner in the color Vivid. So I did another bronzy skin. You know, I always tell you guys I do more looks that I like on myself than anything. Obviously, you're gonna always stick to looks that you like best on yourself. So I did a really pretty summery bronzy skin. And if you guys are interested in knowing how I did my brows, I didn't film the brows this time around because I do have a video of a full video on an updated brow look, which I will link down below as well if you guys want to see that. So yeah, this is the look. So I hope you guys like it, and let me know what you guys think down below. Also, another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was I didn't make a favorite monthly video this past month because I don't always have that many favorite items to talk about, and that's why you might see some months that I do skip with my monthly favorites. But when I gather enough items that I love, I will create a monthly favorites video for you guys. Videos that I have in mind that I want to record for you guys up in the near future, maybe like a room tour, closet, how I redid my closet, and maybe also, now that my daughter is out of school, I want to also do videos that pertain more to kids and to talk to you guys about my daughter. You know, I have a daughter with special needs, and I kind of want to talk more about that. And I also want to maybe do like a room tour. But yeah, those are all videos that I have in mind up in the near future. So stick around. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so that you guys are notified when I upload videos. And yeah, I hope you guys like this makeup look. And if you want to know how to get this makeup look, then just keep watching. I don't have anything on my skin because I want to go through step by step with you everything that I'm applying on my skin, because I want my skin to be very luminous, very bronzy, like always. I want it to be you know, not heavy, but just very luminous and like summery. So the first thing I did was I applied my Caffeine solution from the Ordinary brand. I really like this because it really helps with the puffiness under my eyes. The next thing I'm going to use is this Rose Arctic Eye Balm from Kiehls, which I love because it really hydrates my under eyes. I'll be honest with you, my under eyes have not been dry, and I think it's all due to this balm. And it's also summer, and I think that has a lot to do with it because my under eyes are very dry during the winter. So this balm has helped me with my under eyes, but I really do think that it's a lot to do with this balm because I feel how hydrating it really is. And I also like the way it looks underneath my concealer. So I want my skin very hydrated. I'm going to put this Argan oil from Jolie Maroc, just a little bit because the primer I'm going to put on is also oil based. But I really like this, you know, Argan oil because it's 100% Argan oil and it's super hydrating. And even though it is summer, I need all the hydration on my overall skin. Next, I'm going to put the primer oil, the Photo Finish Primer Oil from Smashbox. And this also works as obviously a primer. It really works great underneath your foundation to maintain the foundation. With a damp beauty blender, I'm going to go ahead and get the green in my palette. And I'm just going to go over some areas like my cheek, around my nose, to get rid of that redness. I'm not putting a lot. I'm barely using any. I just want to tap in the area because the less you layer on your skin, the better your skin looks. I'm also going to use a little bit of my Becca Under Eye Brightening Concealer, which is this really nice emollient, kind of a peach tone under eye corrector. And again, I'm also using very little of this. Not using a lot. Now I'm gonna use my L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow Foundation in the number 207. It's my light shade because I don't have a tan going on right now. So this is a really good color as my natural color. And I love this foundation because it's very hydrating and dewy. And it has great coverage. I forgot to do this. With a drop of my Cover FX custom enhancer drops, I'm just gonna put 1.5 drops and I'm gonna mix it in with my foundation, go over that area again. I'm using the Cover FX Custom Enhancer drops in the color Moonlight. I mixed it in with my foundation. I just love the combination of the two because it gives you a really pretty luminous look. And it's great to add to any foundation if you want that extra glow. Now I'm gonna go ahead with my MAC Soft Ochre Longwear Eyeshadow Primer. I love this because the color is great at concealing any veins, and of course it works great as an eyeshadow primer. Now I'm going to use my Urban Decay eyeshadow palette. This is what the colors look like. They're very, very pretty, nice warm tones. I love the navy and the gold on the bottom, and all these bronzy warm tones are usually shades that I love to wear. So I'm gonna go ahead and set my eyeshadow base with the color Enigma in the palette. It is the lightest color. Just a light tap. I don't want to put too much. I'm just setting it. Next, I'm gonna grab Levitation in the palette, which is this color right here. And I'm gonna concentrate that on my crease. I'm going to use Influence, this really pretty bronzy tone in the palette. And I'm just gonna apply that like right below my, and on my lid, right below the crease and on my lid. This is just gonna be a very pretty blended look. There's not gonna be that much work to this eye look because this is gonna be all about the eyeliner, which is a blue liner that I will show you guys. Next, you're gonna grab your blending brush and just make sure that it's nicely blended. I kind of like to tap my color and then blend away. Tap my color in the areas that I want to apply it, and then I just blend it away from my eye. Make sure you get that clean blending brush. So I'm gonna apply now Sucker Punch on my lid. The story on this artist, you know, he died in 1988 of a heroin overdose at the age of 27, I think. He was really great pals with like Andy Warhol, you know, and Andy Warhol died the year before him. And it's quite interesting because, you know, he was just such an artistic young man and had these drawings that at his time were just so, you know, unexpected. He just had such a talent to himself, and you know, he was inspired by a book that his mother gave him, you know, the Grey's Anatomy book, believe it or not, that his mother gave him while he was in the hospital recovering from an accident he had, I think at the age of 6 or 8. He was hit by a car, and while he was recovering in the hospital, his mother gave him the Grey's Anatomy book, and he just started drawing. I mean, it inspired him to just draw. It's such a sad story, but a really good story to read if you ever get the chance and look at his artwork. It's just so beautiful, his talent and his work. So now I'm gonna apply the lightest color on my brow bone, Enigma, right here in the palette. I'm gonna apply that right there on the arch of my brow bone. Okay, I just applied some lashes. These are my old Ardell wispy lashes. I still have to curl them because they're like really flat, because I just, you know, they're old and I cleaned them, and I actually like when my lashes are a little worn out. But I'm gonna wait for them to dry, and I'm gonna start applying eyeliner. I'm gonna go ahead and apply the cobalt blue liner. It's part of the collection. It's called Vivid. It's a really pretty, beautiful, bright blue liner. I'm gonna apply that in my waterline, on the lower lid, and in the upper lid of my eye. A little more about the artist. His mother, I think his mother was actually of Puerto Rican descent. She was in and out of mental institutes when he was very young, and he actually ran away from home when he was young and just had a really rough childhood. It's really sad, but he ran away from home, was arrested. Then after his arrest, they returned him to his biological father, and I just think he is someone that really just put all his energy into his work, into his art. He was so talented, and it's such a shame he got into drugs, because, you know, dying at 27 is such a young age. You don't even know that much about life when you're that young. Now I'm going to apply the liner on the lower part of my lash line. I really want to make this eye, I really want to make the eyes, you know, surrounded by the blue of the eyeliner. Once this is completely dry, I'm going to go on the top. I think it's dry. I'm going to go now on the top, and I'm just going to trace my lash line with the blue liner. Even if it gets a little bit on your lashes, that's fine, because you can always go back to the lash line of the falsies and just, you know, darken them back with black, which is something I forgot to do. If you guys notice in my intro, I forgot to cover the band of the lashes with a black liquid liner, and I eventually did it. You can also apply your false lashes at the end, which is also a better idea. Okay guys, I just finished doing my brows, and I used the Brow Gal by Tanya Crooks. It's a brow palette that I am really obsessed with. It's amazing. I love the fact that you could use them wet and dry. When you use them wet, they turn into like a pomade, and you can draw lines that are very defined, and obviously you could use it dry as a powder, but it's just, the formula is so smooth. It's not powdery. It's so hard to describe, because even dry is just not as powdery as a lot of brow powders, but that is really that is my favorite brow product right now that I'm using at the moment. Once I applied the brows with the Brow Gal, I went ahead and used my Anastasia tinted brow gel in espresso. Now we're gonna go into complexion, so let's go ahead and do concealer. I'm gonna go ahead and use my Tarte Shape Tape, the light neutral and the light medium. I'm gonna go ahead and use just a little bit of the light medium in this area of my face to highlight. And I'm gonna use a little bit. This is so strong and so pigmented, and this concealer is so rich, you really don't need to use a lot. It's this Sigma Precision Angled Brush, the P84. It's just slightly slanted, and I'm gonna go ahead and distribute this right in here, work my way up, and kind of clean the side of my eye. And then I'm gonna finish it with the Beauty Blender. Use my Beauty Blender to just kind of blend it out, just to push in the product so it's not so pronounced. You want to make it look like skin. So let's go on to highlight. I'm going to use my Cover FX Custom Enhancing Drops, just a couple drops in the back of my hand, and pick it up with my Beauty Blender. And just kind of just pick it up with my Beauty Blender and just apply it in the high points of my cheeks. Make sure it's nicely blended. Again, where the sun would reflect from the face, on the tip of the nose, a little bit on the forehead. I always like to put a little bit of highlight right here because this is the area of the face where the sun would shine, and that's the areas that I want to highlight and emphasize. High points of the cheeks. Okay guys, so before I go into the bronzing, I want to highlight the inner corners of my eyes. Now that I've highlighted my face, I'm going to use the gold in the palette Crown, which is the really pretty gold here on the bottom. Now I'm going to just highlight. I think it just adds such a pretty look to this entire look. It just finishes it off really nicely. I kind of like to bring the gold highlight right in the inner corners going upwards to kind of blend it into the bronze. But you want to do that with very little product on the brush. You want to first apply the main product. After you dip it in the powder, you want to apply it obviously in the holes of the inner corners of your eyes. But once you're done and there's barely any color on the brush, then you want to go ahead and flick it upwards so you can apply that color. Now let's apply some bronzer. I'm gonna go ahead and use my YSL bronzer. This is in the number 1. This is a very old bronzer. I don't even know if they still have it, but you could use just any matte bronzer that you have. I'm starting off with a matte bronzer because I want to warm up the skin, but then I'm going to go over it with a different bronzer just to give it a little bit of a glow, but not that much. This is just to like warm up the skin. Now I'm going to go with the Tarte Tantalizer Baked Bronzer because it has a nice kind of a sheen to it. It's very luminous, and then I'm going to go over it. And this one is a little bit deeper as well, so you're going to start seeing the skin actually becoming more golden. And I'm just applying that in these areas. I'm going to get a little more of that highlight, put it in the back of my hand, because I did go over it a little bit with the powders. So I'm just going to apply a little bit more, just lightly blend it on the tip of the nose. Let's use the back of the Beauty Blender to apply a little more highlight. Keep it slow. So I'm going to apply a little bit of setting spray. I'm using the NYX Dewy Finish Setting Spray before I apply my mascara. So for lips, I prepped my lips. I went ahead and exfoliated with my Bubblegum Lip Scrub. I got this at Lush. It's a very sugary sweet bubblegum scented lip scrub, a little bit of my Aquaphor, and apply NYX lip liner in, let's see what color, in nude beige. This lip liner is one of my all-time favorite lip liners from NYX. Then I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit of this Rouge Cocoa Shine. It's from Chanel in number 89, Satisfaction. It's this really pretty brownie kind of nude with a little bit of a pink undertone. I just like it because I feel like it's really close to the natural color of my lips. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my MAC You've Got It. It's a frost. It's like a goldy, champagne-y, frosty color that I think would go great and complement this look. And then just for a little bit of shine, I'm gonna go ahead and top it off with my NARS Striptease lip gloss, because it's got a very similar undertone. It's got that beigey, champagne-y, shimmery color, and I'm just applying that on the center to highlight. Now the last thing I like to do is mascara. I am going to use this Guerlain mascara, Maxi Lash Volumizing Mascara. I was gonna do I was gonna do a blue mascara that I had from YSL, but I really wanted my eyes to really pop. I wanted the blue of my eyes to pop, so in order for that blue to pop, you want to do black mascara because it'll really make that blue stand out. And I think blue mascara is nice, but not with this look. I really wanted the liner to stand out more. Now I'm going to use my YSL number 4W mascara. This is the number of the mascara, the color. It's a blue mascara. I think it's the only blue mascara they make. It's very, very vivid. I'm going to try it on my lower lashes just to see what it does. It looks almost purple next to the liner. Okay guys, the last thing I want to apply, which I wasn't sure if I wanted to apply blush with this look, so I wanted to complete the entire look before I apply blush, because when I apply a lot of bronzer, sometimes I skip blush because it may be too much. But once I am completely done, I look at myself in the mirror up close and from a distance, and I feel like I needed a little bit of blush. And although this color is very, very pigmented, you always want to start out with a very, very light touch, and that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna use my NARS Taj Mahal, and I'm just gonna do a very, very light application. I'm gonna make sure I get it all over my brush, but then I'm gonna tap my brush. I'm gonna make sure I tap my brush enough, and then just start with a very light application. I really feel like this color is really gonna bring out this look a lot, and it just goes really nicely with the tones in my eyes. And Taj Mahal is a color that everybody that's fair skin to medium skin is very afraid to use, but if you see what a very light application can do, you get a really pretty hue of the color. You just have to know how to apply it. Again, just a very light hue of the color, not a lot. Taj Mahal has a very pretty, very strong golden orange undertone, so it looks great on really dark skin. But like I said, if you apply it softly on your skin, if you're light to medium tone, just start out very, very lightly, and then just keep adding until you see enough of the color up to the amount that you like. And I think this is a good enough amount for me. So this is it. this is the completed look. Let me know what you guys think of this video. Give it a thumbs up. Please don't forget to share it and hit that subscribe button on your way out, and I will see you in my next one. Thank you guys for watching.